Welcome back to Morning Joe. Earlier this morning, we revealed the second annual 50 over 50 list. It's the Know Your Value and Forbes partnership celebrating extraordinary women accomplishing extraordinary things well after the age of 50. Let's take a closer look at one of the women on the list, Kris Jenner. Matriarch, business superstar, momager. At 66, with a net worth of $230 million, Kris Jenner is just getting started. Her empire, which includes spin-off shows, new lines of products, endorsements, a combined 1 billion followers on social media, has been fueled in no small part by this mom manager of 6. Her rise to stardom was not quick. Jenner started out working in a donut shop in her teens, then at a clothing store, and later as an airline flight attendant, before marrying Robert Kardashian in 1987. After their split, she'd marry former Olympian Bruce, now Caitlyn Jenner. It was in her 50s, however, that Kris Jenner rose to fame with the reality television series Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which Jenner pitched herself to E!
Mom!
The show supercharged her family's empire as Kris managed the careers of her children and their businesses, including shapewear, fashion, beauty lines, and more. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're on the list.
I'm so excited about this.
I am too. What's your advice to younger women who feel so rushed, like there's a clock ticking on their lives and their career?
Right. I think, well, you know, from my generation, there was always a clock ticking about having a baby, getting married, starting a family, and you were sort of considered an old maid if you weren't married and pregnant by 30.
Absolutely.
And that was really interesting and just so crazy now when I think back about that, because you know, I have so many daughters and they're 2 different generations, you know, 5 daughters, a couple different generations, and everybody's doing everything a decade later now. I think that all the boundaries that we feel like that other people have set for us are imaginary at this point. I started doing my show, imagine, when I was like 51 years old, 52 years old by the time it got on the air. And it's been one of the most rewarding chapters of my life. I get to get up every single day and work with my family and create something new every time that we get together.
So you coined the term momager? Okay. And you've said that you're the family CEO, right?
I am.
Okay. And you're paid a 10% manager's fee on the gross income from your family's deals. That's pretty good, Kris.
Well, you know, when we started working together, there was no formal agreement per se, and we were trying to figure things out. And most managers and those type of people, agents, are getting between 20 and 25%, sometimes 30.
Of the gross, I know.
And so I said to my kids, look, I'm gonna put my heart and soul into this. I'm gonna work hard, and I'll take 10% because that'll make it worth my while. I'm not gonna charge you the industry standard.
So you were like, kids, I'm giving you a deal. Here we go, 10%. That's a deal.
What a deal. That's right.
I'm interested in knowing when you realized you were the head of a business enterprise and not just a family.
The first time I really started building an infrastructure, you know, and got the right people in the right positions and an in-house counsel and, you know, just all of the necessary folks and team members, and you start throwing spaghetti against the wall. Like in the beginning, we were like, oh, let's try this or let's try that. And, you know, you finally figure out that really what was working was the things that the girls were most passionate about.
And you guys have gotten to the point where you have so much power and so much influence. And I think it's safe to say that much of the American public, at least the young public, look at your family as a model, like what to wear, what kind of makeup to use, how to use it, how to present yourselves. And a lot of that influence happens on social media, which is something that is really, we've all kind of evolved with it over the past decade, for better or for worse.
Right.
And the data has shown now
we're learning that a lot of time on social media for young girls has been linked to depression, body image issues, self-esteem issues. How do you view the family business responsibility in this ecosystem as we are learning so much?
Well, so that's a really a big question.
Yeah.
I think that, I'll start with this. I think that when we first started our show, there was no Instagram, there was no Snapchat, there was no TikTok, there was barely Twitter. And Kim was really the first one who got on Twitter and taught the rest of us how to navigate, the community. And as Instagram evolved and as it got more, the more millions, hundreds of millions of followers, you started as a family. We have over 1 billion followers right now. And with that comes a lot of responsibility, because people do look up to the girls and they really do follow their advice, whether it be fashion or, whatever else that we're doing, and just the creative aspect of what the girls love to put out there. But we feel very responsible, but also pay attention to what we're posting and when we're posting it. We like to post really aspirational things and things that make people feel good and things that show people, fun experiences that we've had. I know a lot of people, the social media platforms have become dangerous. And for young people, I have 12 grandchildren.
Right.
And I worry about that. Mm-hmm. And what I worry about is how negative and dark and nasty people can be, and it can really be very upsetting. We have really thick skin as a family. We're used to it and we can handle it. But there's a lot of people out there that are really affected by nasty messages. People don't realize how powerful their words can be, and they really have to think before they post.
You've been described as one of the most powerful people in Hollywood. Do you feel that you're at the peak of your power? Is there more to come?
I hope so. I never want to think that, you've exercised everything that you have. I think that to feel like there's a lot more to come and there's more chapters is very exciting for me, and it inspires me. That's why I love listening to other people's stories, because I think that we can, as women, can not only empower each other and inspire each other, but I feel like I have a responsibility to show my grandkids and my children what getting older looks like.
So with everything, the products, the new ventures, the shows, the lines, for Kris Jenner, what's it all about? What's it for? What do you want your legacy to be?
I think my legacy is that at this age, I was a great mom, and I'm a good grandmother. That's all that really matters. My goal in life, when I had kids and they became teenagers and young adults, was that every single one of them had something that they found they were passionate about.
That's great.
And that I could help them achieve that as something that could be their life and their own legacy. And so one by one, that's the dream for me.
You can watch the entire interview with Kris Jenner at knowyourvalue.com. Now.